Is the Profusion X Peanuts 75th Anniversary Collection really good? Let's find out. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I'm so excited to be bringing you this new collection from Profusion X Peanuts. It is the 75th anniversary, and there looks to be a lot of really cool products. So let's go ahead and dive in. So first up, I thought we would just do a little unboxing of everything, just kind of show you some swatches, and then we can get started with the look. To start off, one thing I did want to mention is most of the products do come in this pretty hard plastic that is pretty hard to open. So if you do purchase anything, you will need to use like some sort of a tool. I used a bobby pin to open some of these up. I wish that they would get away with that, or get away from that. I do like this one that is in a cardboard package. I think that was a lot smarter idea, and I hope that they possibly do something like that in the future, because I just feel like this is way too hard to use. And then something super also neat that I did want to mention is every single product comes with this limited edition sticker. They all have their own, which is corresponding to the character. So for example, Sally has a little Sally sticker inside. To be honest, I don't fully know what I'm going to do with them. I originally was going to put them on the mirror, but there is not like a lot of room on the mirror, I feel, and I don't know if I really want to kind of like ruin that. So I'll have to figure that out. Like, I think it's a great idea, but I don't know what I'm going to do with these stickers, you know? So that's where I'm like, but it's still a pretty cute little, like, freebie, I guess we'll say, with the items. Let's go ahead, just start talking through. So at first you did see they did come out with this mirror. Pretty cute mirror. I'm going to try to have the prices popping up as well, as long with some swatches, if the product does make sense for that. So this is the mirror. Pretty cute. I love the front. You're not going to be really able to see, but it does have all of the characters. It says happiness is being one of the gang, so I think that's really cute. And I really do appreciate that with this collection, they did pretty much include most of the characters, which is super duper cool, and I do love that. So next up, let's go ahead and talk about the Gangs All Here 12 color eyeshadow palette. So I've seemed to lost mine, but it did come with a little cover sheet that did show different names, which I think is pretty cool for all the characters. They did also have some face prints. Hopefully you'll be able to see in my current one. I did have to ruin them when I did these swatches, but I did try to take a little video, so hopefully you can see that, but of course you can check online. This is a nice variety of, I would say, pretty neutral shades with some berry shades thrown in here, so I do really feel like this is going to be a very approachable palette for most people, which I think is super nice. We also have the Charlie Brown and Snoopy. It is a blush duo. What's really interesting about this one, it is a Bounty blush duo. I will also say opening this was a little tough, but not too terrible. We also do have the Woodstock highlighter. This one, I actually really appreciate the opening and closure on this one. This one, I believe, just is a magnet, or it's just, I don't know, but it's a lot easier, easier to open. This one as well has that really bouncy texture. Super cool and very, again, innovative. I think I've only seen that from ColourPop. It's been a while, so it's a pretty unique formula. We also do have, this one I wouldn't say is unique, so this is a duo, so it does have one of those pH adjusting balm sticks, suitable for face and lips. And we also do get a little pouch here, little bag, which is supposed to be reminiscent of, if you're familiar with Peanuts, Linus loves his little blanket, so it is supposed to be super soft, that if you need some comfort, you kind of just rub it. Next up, these are going to be shown as duos. We do have a Marcy and Peppermint Patty, so these are the Nourishing Lip Jellies. They are each sold individually, but they are the same product, so it's kind of like a lip gloss type product. But I do love the name Nourishing Lip Jelly. Really giving me really thinking of like Ski Beauty and different formulations of things that we don't currently have here in the US, so I really applaud Profusion with that, and I think it's quite interesting. Kind of sticking with that, they also have the Lucy and Sally, so these are Blur Water lip tints, which again, I don't really feel like I've seen much of that here in the States, so I do find that pretty cool if they're kind of dipping their toes into other formulations. I think that is all I wanted to mention, so let's go ahead and jump in with our look. For our eye look, I'm thinking of going, honestly, pretty simple with this palette. I really feel like it's going to be a great staple for like a really quick, easy, kind of neutral look. So let's see, I'm just gonna start with like a fluffy kind of brush, and I'm thinking of taking this shade right here, and I'm just gonna work this throughout my crease. I'm thinking of taking a little bit of the darker brown, maybe with the same brush, just to add a little bit of depth into this outer corner. That's pretty. I definitely would say Profusion, I feel like, has a pretty good formula, and I kind of know what to expect. I'm gonna hop back in with that lighter shade just to help to soften this little transition out a bit easier. And then I'm just gonna take a little fluffy brush just to soften out everything. I went ahead and just took a little bit more of that brown underneath the eye just to help to like frame it. I'm really curious about these two shades here. So these ones have a nice kind of like a flip, but they don't seem really strong. I'm almost just more curious if with a brush or, you know, just using them on the eye will really help. So I think I'm gonna start with the softer one. I'm just using like a flat shadow brush. Seems to be picking up a bit. I think I'm gonna take this in the inner part of the eye. I would say it's a very faint shade, but I still do like the little brightness that it gives. Like, I feel like if you're scared of colored cosmetics or more kind of colored shades, something like this might honestly work really well for you because it does give a little bit of that shade, but it's not too much. I'm gonna go ahead and just to test out this purple next to it. I'm going to do the same thing. I think I'm still gonna stick that kind of in the front. It's not doing a whole lot, if I'm honest. I feel like it kind of is that same idea as the other one. Is it my favorite shade? No, especially because we have other shades in this palette that I know are going to be better. So just so at least you see how that looks. I'm going to go ahead and let's see. I kind of want to do like a gradient. So I'm thinking we'll take this shimmer shade right here. Just with my finger. I'm going to put that on like the outer corner part. And so far, a lot of these shimmers just have a nice kind of metallic sheen to them. I'm going to go ahead and take this shade, kind of apply that next to it. Kind of as I was saying before, I really feel like this palette is going to be great for just a quick kind of pulled together look, something simple, playing with some neutrals. And I do feel like the price point is pretty affordable. I think I'm gonna take, I feel like I could go for this really bright one here or this like goldy one, but I think I'm gonna do this one. The goldy one is also really pretty. I mainly want to grab this one just to say I think that it is a bit flakier on the eye, but it is really, really pretty and a really interesting shade for this palette. Do I feel like it goes? I don't fully know, but it is a really pretty shade. I kind of wish maybe it was a bit smoother though, if I'm honest. I do feel like it's a little chunky, so I think I am going to take that goldy one that I was going to use earlier, and this one definitely is a lot more smooth, and I'm just going to kind of apply that over the top. Yeah, a lot more smooth, still has a really nice shine to it. I think that's pretty. So now that the eyes are done, I'm just going to be doing this kind of, I guess, how you would normally do makeup, or like how I would normally do my makeup. So we're going to go ahead and move on to blush. So we actually have two products to play with for the blush. So we have is a pH color changing balm. So I'm assuming this is like a blush, but I don't know. So we'll just use like a little bit. Like instantly you can tell this is a very like super pink product, and it feels almost kind of sticky, I guess. So I don't know if I prefer it more for the lips. I think we'll put it on the lips in a second and just see how it feels. But as a blush color, it is stamping out honestly pretty well. I do like that. That's actually really pretty. I'm gonna go ahead and remove what I do have on my lips right now, which is just a lip balm, just because I want to see how this is going to appear. Okay, so we do have, of course, a lot of other lip products, but we'll just test this out just to see. I don't know if I'm getting the same, like, vibe as they did. Maybe. It feels nice. It does feel quite kind of greasy, if I'm honest, so let's go ahead and move on next to blush. So one thing I probably might have shown you in the swatches, I don't remember, but if not, we'll go ahead and re-show you here, is, so the blush duo they did come out with, which is interesting, is called the Bouncy Blush Duo. I don't know if the shade is Charlie and Snoopy, but this is what it looks like. I don't know if you can see, there's kind of like an imprint, but not too much. It feels quite interesting of how it, like, I can agree that it feels bouncy, but when I like go to put it on my skin, it feels like powdery. But it feels really soft, which I think is weird. I just kind of re-swatched them. They feel really soft compared to the powder duo that I thought was going to be really similar. I'm assuming it's just because they did kind of a similar idea, not the same colors, of a darker and a lighter shade. I was just worried, but I would not say these are dupes at all. This one is a lot stronger, in my opinion. This one's kind of soft, so let's just go ahead, stamp into this product, and we'll do it on this side. Like, I feel like this is such a light shade that I think that if you struggle with blush and are worried that you might screw it up, this might be a good shade. I mean, it's pretty. I just don't feel like it's picking up much. I'm going to pick it up with my finger, and it's just a very light shade. So I really don't feel like this would work well for a lot of different skin tones, which is kind of disappointing. Let's go and try and work in a bit of this orangier kind of shade. And use my same brush, and I'm really digging in to try to pick up some product. We got a little bit more. I mean, it's there, and it's pretty. Again, I think this is great if you have, do they call it blush blindness? Or whatever, where you put on too much, which, who knows, maybe I do. Maybe we're all on the other side of the screen being like, that's too much, but I feel like regardless, it blends in incredibly well. Let's just use it with, like, a traditional brush that I would tend to use for my blush, which I love, kind of a fluffier brush to not apply too much. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with our brush. It's just weird because it's not a powder, but I do tend to take some blush into my hairline. Comparison-wise, I don't think that's doing much. Moving on, let's go ahead and jump in with our highlighter. Super cute little package here. So this is also going to be that same kind of bouncy product. When I was playing with this earlier, it feels a lot like greasier than the blush, which in a way is nice because a lot of it, like not a lot, but a good amount of product picks up. And I feel like on camera, it actually looks really good. Hopefully you're able to see that a bit. It is kind of a bit more deeper, so I would say certain skin tones, like lighter skin tones like myself, might struggle a bit, but hopefully it'll be okay. So I'm going to try to pick up a little bit of the product with our brush. Hopefully we got something. Just going to stipple that on. I think I would just say for myself, this is not a shade that complements my skin tone, probably because I'm pretty fair, but I think you can make it work. I think with some bronzer would definitely make it work. I think it's because it is kind of this more goldy, leaning more towards bronzy kind of shade. Being the fact that it's summertime and people really love to have that kind of golden tan, I do think this is going to be a great product for that. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and move on to our lip products. So there are 4 if you don't include that like balm thing. So what I'm thinking is we'll kind of do a half and half. I'm really tempted to line my lips with at least maybe like half of my lips or something with one of the shades, just so we can see, but I don't know. It's just how I would probably normally do it. But I'm going to go ahead and clean off that balm that I had on from earlier. And then I think I'm just going to go into a little bit of a nude liner. This is one from NYX. I don't know what it's called, sadly, but it sticks loud. I've used clearly a lot of it. So I'm just going to line probably half of my lip, and then we'll be back to try out the shades. So I did go ahead and line my entire bottom lip, just so I feel like we can see with the liner or without for both shades. So up first, I'm going to go ahead and with the Lucy Blur Water Lip Tint. So I'm going to start on the top. This feels really, really nice on the lips. It feels very jelly-like and fresh, and I actually really like that. Something really cool that I do like about these, which we'll wait a second, is they do kind of dry down, which I personally love as a person that I don't tend to like lip glossy feeling too much. I love that this kind of dries down and gives a bit of color to the lips. I feel like you can even see it happening compared to my other lip, but it feels very, very fresh, and I like that. So far, these are probably going to be in the top for me. We're going to go ahead and dip in with the Sally one. This one looks to be a bit more red. This one's more pink. I feel like it looks pretty dark in the tube. So I do almost wish that maybe it matched that a bit more, but we'll see how the Sally shade does. So far this shade's giving me kind of like a strawberry, like a light strawberry kind of vibe. Give that one a couple of seconds to dry. One thing I will say is I really feel like a product like this is, I don't know if that's the goal, but it's really reminding me of some products that I feel like I have seen overseas. It's this kind of tint product, but it feels very fresh and it almost sets down. It's a very interesting formula that I personally don't feel like I've seen from any brands before, at least here in the US, but I think it is really interesting that we are seeing it from a drugstore brand like Profusion at such a low price point. So now that that's pretty dry, this is the shade. I think both definitely are different enough, which I do like. This shade, I feel like it's a lot more warmer than this side. But honestly, adding the lip liner, I don't really feel like I needed it. I think the shade just really didn't match, so it doesn't really go. But this just feels incredibly smooth on the lips, but it also feels really hydrating. I don't know if that's what this is supposed to be. It's not really stating that, but with that blur water tint vibe, like this is a really good one, and it feels super nice. So transitioning over, we're going to go ahead and go in with, we have the Marcy Nourishing Lip Jelly. Again, I really love these words that they're using for some of these. These feel like words that I don't feel like I hear a lot. And then we also have the Peppermint Patty Nourishing Lip Jelly. I'm probably going to do them to their corresponding sides. So here's our Marcy side. Nice formula. I do like the little applicator. And these smell really nice. I don't feel like anything else in this collection that I've seen is scented. These are, though. I don't know what I'd call this. A little fruity. I think maybe it's like strawberry. And so far, it's not really sticky. It does feel, I would say, a little bit heavier than the, like, blur tint, but really not bad at all. And it does have a really nice sheen kind of jelly vibe to it. Let's go ahead and do our Peppermint Patty one. Start off with a little sniff. So this one definitely smells a bit more kind of minty. I'm getting, like, some sort of, like, a toothpaste vibe. I don't know if I would say peppermint. And I do kind of like the more jelly look of this one. Oh yeah, that's red. That's pretty. But this definitely really coats your lips. I'm not familiar with the jelly type formula of product, if that's the kind of the vibe, so please let me know in the comments if you're aware if that's what that is. So now that we have been able to test everything out, see what we think, I thought it'd be fun just to go through a little bit of a ranking, or not ranking, but I think I'm just going to probably do a simple, would I purchase it, would I pass, just to kind of help you out, at least if you're curious of my thoughts. So let's go with, here, we'll go with the first thing is the mirror. I know I probably only talked about in the intro. I still think it's really cute. I don't know if it's like anything special, but I think if you like peanuts, it feels really nice. It, you know, works good. It's a mirror. So I would say, yeah, if you like it. I feel like some of these I'm gonna have like, oh, it's you know, it's a maybe. So I apologize if it's not a quite yes or no, but I'm gonna try and be more like definitive with other ones. So let's go ahead and go in with the palette. I think this is cute for a neutral look. Would I personally, now I know what I know now, pick it up? No. Unless these shades are like shades that you really want. I don't think it's anything like brand new to my collection that's exciting. That's how I'm going to look at it. Let's go to our Linus cozy little thing. So I already have mine unboxed. The balm product itself is an absolute pass for me. It just feels too greasy. I do love the color and I like how it's in the skin, but because of how it felt when I applied it to the skin, I'm just scared that as the day goes on, that it is going to like get gross. So I don't really like the feeling of that one. The little bag thing, which is cute for Linus, because it is supposed to be Linus, is cute, but this is so small. So this is honestly just a little change purse. Like, you can't fit the full collection in here, so I personally don't know why they included this. I wish if they were going to do it, they would have done it separate, because this is a makeup collection, so if it's supposed to be a makeup bag, like, it needs to be big enough. But I think for kids, I think would honestly really like this. I do think it is really cute. I honestly wish they would have sold this by itself, to be completely honest. The highlighter, this is going to be one of the ones that is kind of a half and half. I think that the formula feels pretty nice. It does feel a little greasy, like I said, but I think it does look really pretty, and I was able to blend it out to get it to work for me. I think if your skin is a little bit more golden, a little more tan, this will definitely work really well for you. Again, just knowing that it is kind of that bouncy texture, slightly greasy feel. It's just, you know, kind of knowing if you're gonna like that. But I do think it's really pretty, and I like that it gives that kind of glow that a lot of people like without it being too sparkly. As for the blush duo, I think it's an easy pass for me, and I'm kind of disappointed with this. Like, they gave us such a good one with this powdered one. I don't know if they were just trying stuff out, and maybe that's what it is. This is just really, really soft for me, and I don't like that at all. I don't think it's going to be able to work with a lot of different skin tones. No. No. Okay, let's get to my probably favorite product. We're going to first talk with the Nourishing Lip Jellies. So, I'm not a big lip gloss person, but as these have been sitting on my lips for a little bit, they do still feel pretty nice and comfortable. The only thing is, I don't know how I feel about the taste, but I feel like I can kind of taste them. It's a little bit perfumey, so I don't know if I love that. I honestly wish that they might, in the future, if they continue with this formula, that they just remove the scent, which I would hope would also remove the flavoring aspect of it. The Peppermint Patty side, which is the more red side, does have a bit of a cooling tinglingness. I don't know if that's just because of the fragrance that they added to it, so I don't, you know, whatever, take it there if you want to. I don't feel like either is stinging. I thought for a second the Barcy side I felt something, but I don't really feel much, and like I said, so far it's not very sticky, so that's really good. My absolute top two favorites are going to be these Blur Water tints. I think these are brilliant. I'm so happy that I tried these out. I hope the brand comes up with more of these. This is like the standout product, in my opinion, of this entire collection. I would say everything else you could pass on and just get these, especially if you're into that more kind of nudie, easy look that I think a lot of people like. These are where it's at, baby. I think that these are a perfect for everybody. You know, for me who likes a more matte lip, it has that, but it still feels hydrating. So I feel like people who like that more hydrating feel, you're still gonna get that feeling because it doesn't feel very drying. So these are like top two favorites. And that is going to be it for today's video. Definitely let me know down below your thoughts of this collection. Are you going to be picking up anything? I would absolutely love to know. Please subscribe if you didn't enjoy this content. I would absolutely love to have you here. I hope you're having a great rest of your day, and I will see you on my next one. Okay, bye!